Good afternoon. My guest spent 44 years in the US building some of the world's most respected AI organizations in the world. He has now come home to found IRO, the Indian AI Research Organization, and ISRO for Artificial Intelligence. Please welcome Professor Amit Sheth. I'm Brinda Tulsian, and you're watching The Print. So you started out as an intern at ISRO, and then 44 years later, you're back in India to build IRO. Why so?
I think the time has come where India has to significantly advance in AI because AI has become central to a lot of industries and a lot of progress in science, technology, even the social sphere. And I've had the benefit of building some exceptional ecosystem in the US. And I felt that such an ecosystem, or nearly so, can be built in the India. That India was progressing very fast, yet the leadership in AI is very much lagging, and the environment seemed to be very receptive to rapid progress. So you have a choice between something that is already working well. I had a fantastic AI Institute of South Carolina and other platforms. I built companies, but with the kind of think about it as a rising tide. I see India, offering that kind of rising tide kind of opportunity. Um, the other thing is that I felt, and I actually had a early inclination of what was to come in terms of um, the access to US, for example, if that was the way that was working for India, a lot of top talent at undergraduate level went to USA or the West, or and got their postgraduate education there, worked there, and became leaders. As we often talk about, there's so many Indian origin leaders in the US, for example. But that flow, I expected to substantially change or even arrest completely. So, and then finally, I once again had a chance to meet Prime Minister Modi ji at his residence in December 2023. I'd met him earlier several times and saw the receptivity of some of my ideas, particularly um, I emphasize the part of the AI that India can be leader in. There is a so-called big AI where I think there are already large language models and there's already frontier models and there are a number of leaders out there. But for India's unique need, for example, spreading AI to startups, deep tech startups who can make products for India and the nation, there's a different kind of AI that is necessary. For example, one that is not using API, hosted somewhere else, sending your data out there. And so I happen to be working in some of the next generation ideas, very simply, collectively. Currently, we call it small AI. But this is a kind of AI where there isn't any acknowledged leader, and I think India can take leadership there. So and then finally combined with that, you see, for example, suppose I develop a very very good application of use of AI in healthcare, the ability to take it at a large scale is very limited because of systemic issues, let's say of healthcare, or the politics of environment and climate. India's appear to be very open, and it seemed very possible after the success of digital public infrastructure. So those digital infrastructure applications and their adoption, like UPI, I use it every day. That shows that you can take an idea and get it to such a level and affect one sixth of humanity and even beyond. That is also very attractive to get a possibility of making a large scale impact either through training students on the high end of the spectrum, or this example I said, saying, what if I were to able to help in building India's health stack, just like there is a digital stack. What if you were able to take digital twin applications for climate and spread all across US for extreme weather? You know, right now there is extreme weather, all around in the world and US, India. That possibilities were there, and I'm happy to see that there is a lot of receptivity. Just the same way DPO was done with government, support, at least not necessarily direct, but agreement. That kind of thing can be done, and I wanted to uh, do that kind of thing at the end of my career.
So, in plain terms, what is IRO? Because you call it an execution engine, right? But we have a lot of AI vision papers that are now coming from India. We have a lot of ideas that are coming out. But what is it about IRO that makes it stand apart?
So far, I think that the way we have constructed IDO is entirely unique. I mean, I don't know of any other organizations that are doing what we are doing. One thing was that after meeting Modi ji in December 23, we had 2 years to really construct the vision. So I wrote a white paper or concept paper called Sovereign AI for India's Strategic Autonomy, and had conversation with policymakers as well as industrial and other tech leaders. The other thing that happened was that a number of highly successful people came together. So, for example, IRO's founding team includes some of the five of the top AI researchers in the US and academics in the US. So there are five professors with who have graduated more than 200 PhD students at the top end from great universities, and they themselves are some of the most highly cited authors or researchers. Access to similarly some of the very forward-looking people in India, and particularly I'll identify Ajay Chaudhary and Sharad Sharma. Both of them have been important public leader, massive impact in public sense. Ajay is Padma Bhushan and co-founder of HCL, and Sharad was intimately involved in the digital infrastructure and co-founder of iSpirit, very very influential organization. And they both have talked about desire for India to become a product nation. So there were powerful ideas, my white paper or these ideas, and my the dedication of the founding team that we meet every week or multiple times, and that led to a inauguration with four goals. Goal number one is to create upper end talent in AI, the talent that can lead and innovate. So we can find a lot of courses and YouTube content and skill development workshop or stuff, right, in India. But where is the high end talent? For example, if you want to build a large language model, one of the hardest thing is to be able to pre-train the data, and that is a skill extremely rare. That is expertise, rather. I would not call it skill. There is expertise that is very rare. India might have less than five experts, perhaps, at the level, for what I'm talking about. Even in US, there are few, just 100 or so top end people like that for all those big companies there, spending billions of dollars. That level of expertise is not there. So number one is to create that high end talent. Number two is to create core technology, a unique AI technology. In our case, focus on small AI. So we are not, for example, focused on creating the core technology that goes into large language models, although there is a overlap. We are creating the technology that we identify to be much more important for India's social and economic progress. So we have a platform to train new small models. So we can create new models frugally. And the frugality is a very important concept that I got from ISRO. The third thing that we are doing is using that platform, we are co-developing those models that are the heart of the products from some of the deep tech AI product companies in startups that are developing products. So their core engine gets developed with us on our platform. So very rapid and frugal and low cost creation of the core IP that the startup can go, and because they advance very fast with very low money, they can get funding very well. And we also have created a large ecosystem. Juhi Patnagar handles the startup ecosystem for um, IRO. And then I met the lot of VCs on 11th of next month, for example, with a large VC. We are having a small AI event in Bangalore, right? Dedicated event. And number four, so startups, creation and dissemination of technology very, very rapidly. And the fourth item is to take some of the important strategic areas, social and economic strategic areas: health, pharma, environment and climate, education, and energy. And in that, partner with major agencies to develop national scale applications and deploy them. So that is the applied AI, deploying that with the partnership of the top organizations where we can bring in the technology, and they have the wherewithal to do the last mile and bring it to the people or users. So if you see in some of these, so correspondingly we have researchers, junior researchers getting trained to be top end talent, professors and very successful senior researchers. We have engineers and product managers, and we have entrepreneurs and investors, all under one umbrella. So what Modi ji has said, from prototype to product, we have developed exceptional capability and ecosystem to do just that.
But with AI, the problem is that it is also becoming a very, high stakes commercial race, and also a Frankenstein monster situation where we see all these new models coming up every single day. So there is a race for models like Mythos, then OpenAI enters the race, and a lot of conflict happening in those terms, and then all these developing countries, including India, trying to get access to these models. So, how do you look at this situation, and what is IRO? What's the vision that you have for it? That how can we help mitigate risks that emerge from AI?
This is a brilliant question. And what IRO has done is to really sidestep the competition. So all the competition is in kind of frontier models. They
Hmm.
want to they take the massive data, including all the proprietary data without any rights, anything they can get, and they train their model. And this model are very successful in content processing, in for creators. We all like those, using those. They really don't solve the problem of enterprises. 2 years ago, Gartner published something which I was talking about even before Gartner published, that in 2, 3, 4 years, most of the AI will get focused on task specific applications, not the general purpose thing that will solve the problem of masses, which is consumer market. But think about enterprise market. There is a wonderful observation in a consumer world. If you are right 95% of the time, you're doing great. In an enterprise, you are wrong 5% of time, you are dead in water, right? So suppose you are doing a clinical application. Then if you want the knowledge about the relevant disease and diagnosis and treatment, these medical specific engines will help you. But suppose you have to work on the specific data of your patients, that won't. And now this solution for this has to be created, A, by only focusing the problem you're solving. What is the what is the role of data coming from Reddit about somebody's opinion on vaccine hesitancy for this problem, for this particular patient? None. In fact, that will be a diversion. That will create hallucination. So there are series of problems. Suppose you want to use AI in capturing all the failures that occur on pharma production quality control. You know, in the pharma, you so there multiple inputs are there. There's a process. You set certain temperature and conditions under which the drugs are produced, manufactured, and there are many things that can go wrong, and you're focusing only solving that problem. Now here, the data is nothing on the web. Data is all coming from this enterprise, this particular production. I'll take the data from last 1 years of production and train my model. I don't need anything else from the world, right? And I have to solve a problem of real time prediction of any exceptions occur, why those exceptions occur, and what should I do just for that particular plant, just for that particular formulation of medicine. These are heavily enterprise, very much enterprise specific high value mission critical problems for which that big AI is no use. So what IRO has done is to focus on this small AI that solves very targeted, customized, industry, enterprise specific problems for which I don't need world's data, but I need data, Indian data, data that where my solutions are going to be deployed, and I need the knowledge. One of the interesting thing IRO does is not traditional data-driven AI that everybody else does with neural models, generative AI. We do neurosymbolic. We combine data and knowledge. So in my example of medical thing, the doctor is treating a particular disease. There is a clinical protocol for that disease treatment and diagnosis, and that must be applied in the patient's context for giving the guidance to the doctor or consult to the doctor. Now that has nothing to, so how are you going to take that patient data first of all, and that particular medical protocol on a large language model? You can do a RAG or some other solutions that will be very limited and incomplete and not accurate. So our custom compact neurosymbolic AI models that power our vision of smart small AI is something that will, so we recently launched a center of excellence in industrial AI. IBM and IRO came together, and with the Department of Science and Technology of Gujarat, we launched this thing. Now in Gujarat, there are many industrial companies, oil and gas, solar, some of the largest solar plants are here, semiconductor fabs, auto manufacturing or assembly, and many other types of manufacturing and chemical and so on and so forth. Now, when you think about all of those industries, there's another very interesting thing. SEBI has a rule that public companies cannot put this kind of data on an API of anybody. So these companies are looking for air gap solutions that are deployed in their environment. So our small AI approach and our that specialized model can be put on the edge computing, can be put on a laptop, can be put on, if necessary, mobile or specialized devices. We have DGX servers. These are only 5 lakh rupees servers. They have one, better than H100 NVIDIA chip and 128 gigabyte of memory. We are working towards training and deploying models on such computers that will be on the factory, on the premise, and you don't have to send the data outside. You don't have to do compute on somebody else's thing. You pay for it once. It's air gapped. You can't be, no privacy thing can happen. Nobody can break into your thing. So this is an example of innovative uh, uh, you know uh, uh, innovative solutions to India's specific problem, or the problems in which India still can lead China and US has not taken lead in what we are working on. Now they might, if we sit on behind and not invest, and our investment is indeed slow. But at least right now we are here, we have a fighting chance.
So you have talked a lot about talent and sovereignty when it comes to AI, right? Talent in the sense that despite India having talent, there is a lack of, because of brain drain and other problems. We suffer in the AI race, and secondly is the sovereignty in terms of AI. So what is IRO? Because we are seeing a lot of professors, the board members, the team is mostly consisted of people who are now coming back or who are working for IRO despite having lived away from India for decades now, like you. So, and there are a lot of partnerships also happening. So, how is IRO trying to reverse this trend and bring in talent, also help the existing talent that exists in India? So, yeah, if you could shed light on that.
Sure, we are doing at least two very concrete things where they're very unique. First, in US, my academic environment had been very successful. I trained more than I. I already trained more than 40 PhDs, and another 8, 9, 10 are underway. To now these were world class talent that I created. For example, average citation of my graduating PhD was more than 500, and one third had more than 1,000 citations before they graduate. This is a very, very big number. You are hardly going to find any group in the world that could present this case. I decided and I felt that I could recreate such powerful environment here in India. Why? Because I noticed last 4, 5, 6 years, a lot of mm, undergraduate Indian students were interning with me online, participating, publishing papers in the top conferences and journals, and because of demonstrating this high-end research capability, they would get fully funded masters or PhD in the top programs in the world, including one of them went to, for example, MIT Media Labs, and she's doing PhD there. And there are many other things. Also, my students competed with PhDs and postdocs from Stanford, CMU, Berkeley, and won for those jobs. So I know how to create that Gurukul ecosystem that I did there. If I and I know that the raw talent is available here. So that is one thing. So we are already, for example, I already have 12 to 15 students as research interns, research scholars, and pre-docs and postdocs that are part of the ecosystem that is already here. And we are talking about only 3, 4 months of work. Secondly, um, just the same way that so many Indians have signed up to support this more or less a national sovereign mission that IRO is. Because these guys are working with me every week. They are visiting here. 10 of us were there at India AI Impact Summit. And most of majority of them came from US, and they continue to come here. And very interestingly, there are some of the top engineers at DeepMind, Google, IBM, Amazon. They are giving pro bono service to us. So if my junior people don't have that top and technical expertise, I can get it. That's another very interesting thing, because we have such a powerful model and sort of brand, I would say, that every day I get requests from people saying I want to contribute. And in fact, right now there's more offer than we can take. The second thing is that with what has happened to America, to US, there is a genuine interest in coming back. For the visa regime, somebody has to stay 6 months and a year waiting on H1B, or somebody could not come at a critical event when a parent is sick. For many, many diverse reasons. And other very important thing is that in India now, a good technical person can earn to have a very good quality of life. In fact, I started to show to my graduating PhD students that here is what you can get in US, but if you come to India, here's what you can get in a dollar to rupee terms. There's nothing, but in the quality of lifestyle you can live, the size of the apartment you can own, the kind of people that you can work with, the joy of working in your culture and with the in access to family, and the conveniences, right? I think you are better off if you are earning 35 lakhs to 50 lakhs, which is what these guys would get after PhD. You can do, and your cost is 1.2 to 2 lakhs per month. You can live very, very well and save. So things have changed suddenly in last 3, 4 years. So now my first hire after myself, and not counting those junior guys who came, the students and already part of the, came from University of Texas Austin, and with 7 years of stay in US. First guy. Second, fourth person who is coming is he's coming next week. He spent 10 years in US, was a very senior product manager at Amazon, and he is moving. And he could have gone to many companies here, but in the IRO's ability to probably have very large impact and the mission, attractive mission, he wanted to work here. So he did not look for the highest paying job per se, but he came to IRO. And we have a large pipeline already. Many people who want to come and join. We are going to bring in some top professors now full time. They are already coming part time or visiting, but we will also bring them full time. And we are also strongly leveraging the local ecosystem. So we have MOU, very strong MOU with BITS Pilani and with IIT Gandhinagar, and we have with Nvidia, and we have with many other organizations and all, and we have with US, Penn State, University of California, and Irvine soon to come, UT Austin already done. We are doing new innovations like a IRO junior person who wants to do PhD will get streamlined, simplified admission, direct admission to these partner organizations. They will register for PhD there. They will do the coursework there. But many of them are very attuned to and creating new models like BITS Pilani for their product centric PhD. So in our case, we are going to do another twist on that model where much of the research will be done at IRO. They can work with these world-class professors. They can also be co-advised by professors at IIT Gandhinagar or BITS Pilani or others, and they have local expertise because there is no dearth of good technical talent even in terms of professors in India too. But there's that, IRO will bring that world view, world level of talent, the kind of problems we can select and work on, and IITs or BITS are giving some very good professors to work with an ecosystem. Together, we are going to create new class of high-end talent, PhDs level talent, or even for somebody who wants to build a company, that will be something very unique compared to what current top academic institutions can do. Because what happens is that after bachelor's, most students want to still go foreign. Even they can't go to US, they want to go to Germany. I want to break that cycle. And I said that in India, you can do a better PhD than going to Germany or Switzerland. That's what we are doing right now. And I think we'll do that. Because the quality of people involved, the professors and such, they are better than what you can find in any one place. You can't find, you hardly find any one place where there are 5 professors in AI with H index of 75 to 124, and fellow of all the major societies, AAAI, which is the top AI professional society, ACM, AAAS, which is the top scientific society. So we are all members of, elected fellows of those, and we are available to students in India. So why should they go? Why should they be a second-class citizen in US when they can be first-class citizen and have access to all that level of talent? My students here can work with the guy in DeepMind and publish with them in the top conference. Why do I need to go? Right? So these are the things that are both creating of the new class of academic ecosystem on the high end. When I went to and the getting the people back here, when I went to see Modi ji, one of the commitment I made was to do this reverse brain drain, and I think we are pretty much succeeding with that. It's only a question of how much, at what scale we can do that. But even if we can't do a lot of scale because of money, we certainly would have created the model that many can adopt.
Professor Said, thank you so much for speaking with us. It was a very insightful conversation on AI and where India is headed with AI. And we wish you luck with IRO as well. You're watching the print.